Hi guys, my name is Olga Noel and I make ball-jointed dolls. Today's topic is a little bit odd for me as a BJD artist, but it's very normal for my day-to-day corporate life. AI and BJDs. Not two things that you typically hear in the same sentence. So where this came from? I couldn't find much online about it, but the idea came to me during a goodbye call at work. A bunch of people in my company has just been let go. It wasn't because of AI, and somehow the conversation turned to every job will be affected sooner or later. I mentioned how the art sphere is already under pressure, which was somehow not exactly what everybody asked for, but I tend to pull my interest into every surface level chat, so that's on me. And I started thinking about it, and it sort of turned into me spiraling, so now I'm trying to pull you in my use of AI. At my current job, I use AI almost daily to solve technical puzzles, test edge cases, because I work in tech, but I don't use it for like mood tracking or I haven't replaced Google with it, and honestly, I never thought about using it for my art or my dolls. Some coworkers who know far more about my art than they honestly asked me about whether I feel threatened by AI's rise in the art world. My favorite meme about it is this, but the truth is, I don't think that doll making is going to be the first or even the second art form that is going to be affected. Why BJD is different? BJD as a hobby is way too specific and really layered. There is an artist's layer, the sculptors, wig makers, face-up artists, clothes designers, eye makers, shoe makers, accessory makers, every single artist who has this, like, grants a piece of their soul and gifts it to the community. There's also a company layer, small or large teams and businesses producing dolls for sale on a larger scale. There is also this collector layer, people who experience pure joy from getting the coveted doll. And then come photos, communities, stories, everything around those dolls. And naturally out of this, I would ask a question: can AI replace that? And for me personally, the answer is not really. Maybe the photos, maybe concepts, maybe it'll creep into concept generation. But producing real BJDs, real life dolls that you can touch and potentially buy from somebody, I doubt that. Theft versus AI. You all know that AI was taught using real life drawings of real life artists. You can find a lot of cases where an artist who drew a picture compares it to the result that AI gave, and the comparison is just staggering. It's obviously a theft, and it was obviously done without an artist's consent. This is commercial use of someone's lifelong mission to learn, to study. This is wrong. I hope everybody does know that. But let's talk about the theft in the BJD world. And theft for us is basically doll recasting. People already still work by disassembling dolls, making molds, and reselling them. Either molds themselves or finished doll. Some even call them cheap replicas, so they're not trying to sell it as their own art, but directly steal from an artist and become sort of a parasite on their name. If you genuinely don't know or don't understand why is this bad, let me know. I will make a video. I might make a video even if you don't let me know, because I'm a yapper. That might happen. But if you do not know why replicas or recasts are bad, please write me. I will explain. And I will be nice about it, I promise. But the point is, this kind of mentality, get rich without the hard work, is exactly what could potentially make AI seem like a good solution for people like that. If AI gets good enough for making BJDs. What AI can do. AI is hitting 2D artists right now. It has learned 3D too. And yes, I'm aware that a lot of creatives are afraid of losing their jobs to AI. But it happens, and people do lose their jobs to AI, not because AI does it better, but because it can mimic creativeness and do it fast and cheap. But it is very important to understand that art is not just a skill or speed with which you produce it. Art is intention, and AI, unfortunately, or rather for us fortunately, doesn't have that. Even with the most poetic prompt, it lacks intention and it lacks experience that artists have. Capitalism, unfortunately, this one is for sure, unfortunately, makes us think that what sells equals good. And sometimes it's true, but not always. BJDs are built on human choices. BJD artists know anatomy. They study balance, body mechanics, and they intentionally break the rules to make the joints move or stay steady. They lie on purpose so that the sculpt looks human or animal-like, even when it is. So some choices that I made for my boy, for example, are virtually impossible for a real human being. But when you look at him, I created this image, this lie that I'm pulling you into. And I also believe this lie because for me, my brain is still computing him as a tiny human. So I still feel that I created something that looks really, really close to being human, but it isn't. It's obvious. I mean, I understand that it is obvious, but I just want to share that intention with which I broke those rules, with which I cut those, muscles, bones into specific shape, is something that AI cannot replicate. Or maybe AI could replicate it or make it as close to my cutting technique as possible, or as close to some other author's technique as possible. But it would definitely need to learn from existing dolls, existing files, and honestly, there is just not enough material to do that. And I'm sure that even if a person decided to create this model that can replicate that, it would cost them an arm and a leg. There is, in my opinion, just not enough training material there. Next one is photography, posing, and emotion. BJD photography is not just clicking a button. It's an emotional act. A human photographer, a living, breathing human being who takes pictures of dolls or humans, they understand posture, they understand touch, they get the unspoken. And in BJD, photographers use dolls to express it. AI doesn't get that, not deeply. Even humans, I'm one of those humans, need countless hours of psychotherapy in order to understand those tiny interactions. We need a lot of effort, conscious effort, to scratch the surface of how people interact. Then one day you're just scrolling away and a random photo appears in your feed. And then you start crying, and you don't know why. But the collector, the artist, the photographer who took it, they know exactly what happened. And this is, for me, is just pure joy. This is great. Can AI make you feel that? Probably, yeah. But as soon as you know that it's AI made, at least for me, it is true. But as soon as I know that it was made by AI, I understand that it lacks this intention. I understand that it got something, but it lacks this human interaction that I'm seeking when I look at art. Ownership and intent. Wigs, clothes, accessories, these by themselves bring contentment because they are real. You can own them. This is you basically translated from something intangible in your head to something really tangible in your hands, and you feel this relationship between you and the doll, between you and this wig, between you and this article of clothes. I understand that this sounds a little bit odd to people who are not really interested in dolls, who are not really interested in pulling something out of themselves into the real world. But for those who do understand that, it is a real thing. You can't really own a generated image. And with BJDs, even when they are fantasy creatures, they bring something human into our life. And I feel that it is practically impossible to just rip and sell. Making a doll is a skill, and AI is mad good at skills. But the market for this particular one is really tiny, in my opinion. We have a great, huge community, but this community is built on those relationships between authors, companies, and creators, and artists who want to express themselves. And we basically make dolls from artist to an artist, to a person who has a vision, who has this desire to support, to be respected, and to respect back. So I feel like BJD is under less pressure from being overtaken by AI. That said, I feel that like skills from real life that can be translated from 3D on the screen action into something printed, yeah, I can see that. But this is just like a third of a process. The other 2/3 is your vision, your choice, your story. And maybe you can call me naive because we still have those doll recasting people and theft and a lot of dirty business that is happening in every community. There is this underbelly, so to say. But in my opinion, people who support artists and people who make those choices to support an artist, to buy an original ball jointed doll, they are the backbone of this community. No matter how pretty the doll is, no matter how good the concept is, if it is created by an AI, I believe that those people won't be choosing to support AI over real life artists. Maybe this is delusional. Maybe it is, but I choose to believe that. So yeah, what do you think? I don't really use AI for imagery or 3D work. I'm currently taking several courses at the same time. One, I'm learning how to draw. The second one is I'm learning how to animate. The third one is I'm learning how to sculpt in 3D. And it's a lot, and I know it's a lot, but I'm making this choice. I'm choosing to learn to take things out of my head and make them real with my own skill. Everybody around me knows that I'm more of a learning buff rather than like a productivity hacker. I don't see how it can possibly be hacked. I'm not super into let AI do the job for me mindset. I enjoy struggling with art and I enjoy getting there on my own. What about you? Do you use AI for creative work? Do you think about things like this? Or is it just me spiraling into those crazy overlaps between tech and dolls? I don't know. It's something that really bothered me, so I decided to make a video. I really am interested in your opinion. If you can, drop me a comment and let's talk about it. Thank you ever so much for watching, guys. Hopefully you liked the video. Subscribe to the channel. Here are my social media accounts. Follow them if you don't. And see you guys next time. Thank you. Bye.